Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Creatives Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Simone Campbell.
And I'm your other co-host, Tevin Brown.
And today we have on I will start by saying goddess, general professional human, but no, beyond that, singer, actress, producer, Mercy Rae. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me and being so accommodating.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're on the opposite side.
Yeah, a little flipped around.
Yes. You said the glow radiates a little bit more on this side.
Yeah,
yes.
This is the Shirley Temple side.
Nope, no worries at all. Again, there's so much more space.
It really is.
It's so
we weren't used to it before we started.
This goes out to all of our previous guests. You got the good couch. This is so comfy. Oh my God. Anyway, again, thank you so much for being here. So where to begin? Let's just start at the beginning. Your origin story. What does being a creative mean to you? And how did you get to where you are today?
I think I've always been a creative. I will say I think I'm slightly on the spectrum. So I think growing up, my parents were like, we're just going to let her do her. And my dad's idea of parenting was like literally like, do you want to go to school or do you want to go have fun? So I kind of grew up with this like, my dad was also a musician, and I grew up with like really nurturing music, creativity, art, and things like that. And so I've always gone into that. And when I actually moved to Albuquerque, I'm from Los Angeles, was when Mercy was born. I started in burlesque here.
Oh, hell yeah.
And with that, when I graduated college, I ran away with the circus, and I became a fire breather for the circus.
What?
So, I started fire breathing here in Well, I learned in Florida, but then I really started here and took it around the country and actually into different countries and bits around the world. But from there, I got into music. And I was also a child actor. I was on Stuart Little.
What?
Yeah, and I did like voiceover work for Barney. Hi, I'm a star. I'm a yellow star. Click on me.
Oh my God. Wait, who are you in Stuart Little? I'm not over that.
I was a boat racer.
Okay.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
So good. You were not Stuart.
I was not Stuart. The ears were too good though.
That's so fun. Oh my God.
So I kind of have always grown up in that and just, nurturing it, and it's evolved. I think the great thing about being a creative is that if you allow it, it will be a journey instead of a destination.
Absolutely. As it should be. Like as you just proved, all of the wonderful, exciting steps along the way. Oh, I love it. The whimsy is I was going to say unmatched. Yeah. But yet to be matched.
No, I think that's perfect. And so hearing that you kind of grew up already with music around you, with your father being a musician and everything, but it sounds like you had started, did you kind of like, because it sounded like you started music later in life, like what was that journey like specifically there?
Well, so as a child, I did piano, and I was composing piano pieces by the time I was 10, but I kind of rebelled against music, honestly, because me and my dad have a little bit of a tumultuous past, and I was just like, oh, well, musicians are starving and they have issues and I don't want to do that. So I became a starving circus kid.
Perfect.
Yeah. But since then, when I was in the circus, I met my now ex-husband, and he kind of fostered the music in me and really was like, why aren't you chasing this? You have a beautiful voice, you love to sing. And once I opened my own mind to letting it happen, I realized like, oh, this is the path for me. Like I love this and I want to do it all the time. And the moment I step foot on the stage, I was like, oh, this is it.
This is the one. Yep. Light bulb.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Well, share more about your music. What kind of music do you make? What's your creative process like?
So I started out in alternative like pop EDM. I've headlined for Ibiza Pride twice. I've done Puerto Vallarta Pride. I've done a lot of things like that. But I have recently, with my new project, dived more into alt rock. So we've got still bass, because I'm a sucker for dubstep. Ugh. So still heavy bass, but now we're adding electric guitars, and we're kind of going into this darker realm because I'm exploring with my new EP Origin Story my new process. So I haven't told anybody this, and I'm super excited to tell you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Origin Story is part 1 of my 2-part project. It's going to be a double-sided EP. So Origin Story and Villain Era. We're going to get all the way there.
Nice.
I love it. I'm seeing the duality, like in the fit. You know, you got the black, you got the spice, you got the fun of the pink and the chains. Yes.
Thank you.
So good. That's exciting. And that's coming out in spring?
Yes. Okay. And so Origin Story will come out first in spring.
Okay.
And it's going to be 5 to 6 songs, depending. And then right following that, so either beginning of summer or end of summer will be Villain Era. And so they'll go together, and there's a couple secret songs on there for everybody.
Stay tuned, guys. It's coming. Oh, that's exciting.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So with music and your creative past, what is your specific, like, I guess kind of like how you would ask with writing style, but more specifically like how you come up with your concepts?
Well, Origin Story is pretty self-explanatory in the fact that I pretty brutally left a 10-year-long relationship and marriage, and I didn't do it in the most angelic way. I became the villain in the end, and I really felt like I needed to explain how I got there. And it was really inspired by all of these women characters. Like if you think of Arcane, you think of Jinx.
Yes.
If you think of, you know, any Disney one, I can't think about Maleficent. Like they all have stories. Like nobody starts out the villain. Nobody's born the villain. Villains are made.
Absolutely.
And so this is what made me the villain.
I love that.
Chills.
Yes.
I have been thinking this whole time that I was wondering if you could give us like a little sample. Would you be willing to like sing for us just a little bit? Is that crazy? No pressure, no pressure. Nah. Then you can just like build some suspense. Look up her music.
Yeah, because I think that I would sing it, but a cappella is not going to do it justice. Because with the electric guitar and like the deep bass, I think you're going to miss out on the experience.
That's the whole experience.
But what I could tell you is that the first song that I'm going to be releasing is called Antifreeze. And the line is, I'm sweet like antifreeze. So there's a little of that, but think less a cappella.
Maintain the mystique. Yeah, didn't mean to put the spotlight on you too bright.
It's okay.
Continue. Oh, that's exciting. So I am curious how your history, you know, as a circus performer, as an actress, how that informs your stage persona as a singer and your creative process.
Oh, I go all out. Like it's a theatrical moment. Like when I step on stage, I don't think it's just auditory. Like, yes, everybody comes for the music, absolutely. But I think there's a difference between the performers that we see who change us because their show is so dynamic. I will never forget the moment I saw Eshniko because she changed how I perform to the point where I was already prepping for my second Ibiza Pride. I had my set list. I knew how I was going to do it. I knew what I was going to do. I saw her perform at Coachella and I was like, no, full stop. I need to send 3 of my songs to DJs to get them remixed. They need to be harder. It needs to go like this. I need to reorder the thing. I mean, I was so impressed just with her and the way she moved. And I love her music, period, but it's just a different command of the artistry. And I knew right then, I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to inspire women. I literally went from the stage to a patch of grass and wrote down my thoughts.
Wow.
Because I was like, I want to do this to I want my stage presence to be that commanding.
Absolutely. Because that's like, it's captivating, right? You know, and you're hypnotized as the audience member, and that's such an exciting experience.
My jaw was on the floor.
Oh,
like the whole time.
Yeah, you're like, got it.
Exactly. And there are so many wonderful female performers, but for me, that was just so different to see a woman who I do love the music, but have it change into a theatrical performance where you're almost like watching like a theater play almost. Like I'm watching an opera. This is incredible.
Yeah. It's the exciting part of live music too, right? You get to give it new life.
Exactly.
No, Sorry, I got lost in the conversation. I won't lie. I guess kind of because we've already kind of touched on some of the stuff that's coming up immediately and everything. Kind of taking a look back, what have been some of your favorite parts of your journey that you've gone through?
Well, my most recent favorite part was my business partner, Rachel Delavino, I love you. We shot a short project called Better Now, and it was my story about mental health and what I was projecting to the internet during my relationship, where people thought I was living the life. I'm on private jets, I'm at parties, I'm on yachts, I'm 5-star dinners, I'm doing all of this, and I was miserable. I was contemplating ending it all. I was drinking, I was partying, if you know what I mean. I was doing all the bad things, and I was miserable, but nobody knew because I was putting on this performance for social media. And so when we made this project, I got to be the lead in it as well, and it was just recently accepted into the Las Cruces Film Festival for premiere. So
Congratulations!
in April,
Yes,
you
that's
guys can see
Nice.
it. That was a big moment for me because I'd always been on bigger projects, which are still milestones for me, like being on The Matrix with Lana Wachowski was just incredible and mind-blowing. And my scene where it was literally just like me and her, and she was like fixing my hair, I was like, I'm gonna remember this forever.
Core memory, May.
Yeah, exactly. Like I still dream about it. I'm like, this is real. This happened. But it was like my story, so it was personal in a different way, and it wasn't something that I could have gone any other way but by being me and by being vulnerable and by willing to tell the story that I hadn't been willing to tell before.
That's huge. Yeah, I am curious. Speak more on the importance of bringing your authentic self to art and how that makes a difference. Like, and feeling the pivot from not only your personality and how you showed up in the world, but also, what you were creating when you made that decision.
Well, I think the biggest help in my change in path was I am now 2 years sober. And sobriety changed everything for me. I tell people all the time, sobriety is not a magic wand. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not going to fix your problems. What's going to happen is it's going to make them crystal clear that they do not align with you anymore. And it is your choice then, will you sit in the pain or will you make the change? Because once the fog is lifted, there's nothing to numb you. You have a choice in which to show up. And I chose 2 years ago to show up incredibly different. I knew I didn't want to be treated the way I was being treated by my partner. I wanted more out of my life. I wanted to be real. I wanted to dress the way I wanted to dress. I wanted to speak about the things I wanted to speak about. And I was going to use my platform to be brutally honest. I talked about being assaulted. I talked about all of these things. And I was like, if this loses me followers, so be it. Because there will be somebody there that shows up and says, I needed this. I needed it to do X, Y, and Z. And then maybe me shining a light on this will help them shine a light on theirs. And that's why all of my music from that point on was I wasn't willing to... I made a lot of pop music I didn't love before. And there's some still on the internet. You can find it. And I refused to do that this time, stepping into this like villain path. For a woman, I think sometimes the villain path is simply having boundaries.
Yep.
And saying no.
It's true. Absolutely. People will make you out to be a villain for doing just that all day.
Yeah. And so I'm, as they say in Euphoria, if that makes me the villain, so be it. I'm there. I'm at that spot. And I think the only reason though I got there was from sobriety.
That's huge. Yeah, I work with individuals, during my day job, I work with individuals who are in recovery or formerly incarcerated. And yeah, similarly from discussions that we've had, the freedom and the pressure, but the liberation of finally being free of that haze, like returning to yourself. It's huge.
It's a big moment. There's a reckoning that happens because I can't tell you how many times people will come up to me and tell me stories, and I'm like, I don't remember that. And I have to make peace with that. Being, okay, I was that girl, I was that person, I showed up like this, but I'm not willing to do it again. I'm willing to show up differently now.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing and for your vulnerability, even in this space.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having it.
Always, yes.
Oh. I was. Oh my
Right? I know.
goodness.
We're just like, oh.
Well, for some of that, it was like, that was the moment where I needed to shut up and just nod and be like, yes. Not in a, hold on, internet. Not in a sense of I had nothing to say, but in a sense of sometimes the best thing to say is to give people the space to speak their minds and not input. Speaking to, you know who I'm talking to, certain people. Moving into so many different things. As Simone said, thank you for sharing all of that, because it's absolutely beautiful to hear. And I'm sorry for the hard moments, and congratulations on being 2 years sober, because that's absolutely huge.
Absolutely.
Goodness. With all of that, pull out my old quote, where I had come up with a quote. If someone could prove that someone said it before, I've never heard it before, but I trademark it. It's
all
me.
you.
Where the creative takes one of two paths. They either use their art to avoid their traumas, or use their art to confront it. And I love kind of how you even tell that through your story of making the pop music that you're not the most proud of, and like the social media posts and everything, where it was a lot of like using what you were doing to cover what was going on, and now how you've created this shift to where it's like, no, I'm not gonna cover it, I'm going to like confront all of it and be like, this is me, but my stupid Gen Z brain started singing the song from Camp Rock.
Yes.
But that's also a perfect moment. Or for a lot of the younger generations, it's even thinking about like the movie Wicked, and how that completely changes the way that you look at the Wicked Witch and the story that she had to go through, and how you just understand everything better. And I always feel like the best villains are the ones where the best villains are always the ones that, if you look at their story, it makes complete sense why they make the decisions that they make and move through the path that they do. So I guess moving into all of it, because also congratulations again on the film festival and getting accepted with the short film. What was, because we kind of already talked about what was that like, but what was it like, not necessarily in the point of like making it, because like of course there's like so many emotions and everything that go through, but when was that moment where it was like, because you had already made the shift where you started to see all of the things change, because like how you had said, like sobriety, it doesn't, like it's not a magic wand that makes all the problems go away, but it makes everything crystal clear so you can make the decisions to move out of it. When was that point that you had realized that you were out of what you were in then?
I think for me, so I had to get sober because I had a very like a moment of my father, who I was very close with for a long time, made a decision that fractured our relationship, and it really broke me. And on the heels of that, I went very deep into self-numbing for months. And then following that, 1 month later, I was assaulted. And I was put in the hospital for Christmas Eve, spent at the hospital. And during that time, they had to do a CT scan, and they found a growth on my liver, and growths multiple on my liver and kidneys and uterus. And basically they dropped the C word very hard on me. They were like, we can't tell you for sure, but the way this is looking, you need to like get checked out. And I just numbed out. I was like, I am not prepared to deal with this. Yeah. I was already not happy in my relationship. I was already not happy in all of this. And then I had to go sober for the medicine that they were giving me to deal with the accident. And I started to get a little bit of clarity, and I was like, oh, well, maybe things are easier to deal with when I get clear. And then I finished a movie that I was shooting down in Mexico, and we celebrated. I partied for 3 days straight. And I was so deathly sick in the hotel that I was praying to anything that would hear me. Any god, any goddess, any universe. I was like, whatever it takes, please, 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 I will do whatever it takes to make this stop. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And all I could hear in the back of my head was, get sober, get sober, get sober. So I made a deal with the universe, like no joke. I was like, if you want me to get sober, then you're going to let me go to sleep. And when I wake up, I'm going to feel better. And I could never go to sleep when I was intoxicated. I fell asleep and I woke up and it was actually okay. And I was like, all right,
You're like,
this is it.
now what's next?
Yeah.
And I was like, I
Wow.
knew that day, I was like, I can't go back anymore. And as that happened, I started to see all the other unalignments. I was like, oh, I'm miserable because of this. Oh, I'm really miserable because I don't like this. Oh, this doesn't go with the path. The person that I saw, no wonder I can't manifest this dream. I can't be this person because I'm too busy being this other person. And it was just like kind of one domino after another. And I left my husband. I left California. I came back here, moved in with family until I could get settled. And then it was just like, I just started getting these messages from women all over the world saying, I found your music and it really helped me. Because I was at the point where I'm like, I can't do this. I don't have anybody in Hollywood to help me anymore. I'm like, I don't have my in. Like maybe I wasn't the sparkle. Maybe I was given this. But then I started just get like literally once a week at least, just women from across the country that were like, I found this song and it changed everything for me. And really the moment I decided I had to keep doing it was a young girl messaged me and she had gotten pregnant and she was very young. And she was deciding to keep the baby and everyone around her was telling her no. And she found my song Dearest Alice. And she said that gave her, even though it was a song about exploring your sexuality, it gave her enough courage to make her own decision and say, I want to do this, that she named her child Alice.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, if I can inspire one person, just one person to feel better, then maybe everything else that I went through, maybe all the trauma was maybe not okay, I'm not saying that, but maybe it was to build me into the character that I needed to be something for someone else. And that's why Better Now got written. And then that's why I hope that when people watch that movie and the short, they see it and they're like, oh, this has happened to me. And I put up a picture of me and my boyfriend, even though like we hate each other, like whatever it is, like, we've all done that. Posted a picture, maybe we didn't have a great time at an event, but we went to the bathroom and our outfit was smoking and we were like, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Just to be real instead of not have to do that. I want to inspire one person to do that.
Yeah. And it sounds like you did and more. I got chills, like not as like a joke or like even to be cliche like I did in you sharing that. That's incredible. And that's the power of authenticity and bravery to experience life in all of its violence and intensity and joy. And it's so beautiful that you can translate that into art too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
As we're starting to round out, one of my favorite questions that Simone killed last episode, I don't care what anyone says.
What are they saying? No.
Whether it's one bullet point, a paragraph, or one sentence, just advice to any creative out there of any age trying to get into their respective passion.
Keep going. Keep going. The thing about failure is you only fail if you stop in it. Like when you get to something and it doesn't work, keep going. I've evolved 100 times. I probably evolve 100 times before I die, hopefully. That is the point of art. The art is not the stop. So if you are finding and it's not working, just keep going. And it doesn't matter how, if it's a little, if it's a lot, it can be something simple. Filming, just keep filming. Change. Allow yourself to change and keep going.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thank
Before
you.
we tune out, one of our final questions is where people can follow you. I think we might have said it in the beginning of the episode, but I also want it at the end as well, so that way people can follow your
Drop those
music. That way when it
handles.
drops in early summer as well as later summer for the surprise second half of the EP. But yeah.
So I'm the Artist Mercy Official on Instagram, and then I'm the Artist Mercy on everything else. Spotify and Apple Music, right now the easiest way to find me is by typing in Mercy and then my biggest song, Going Down. Eventually it will change over to Mercy Rae as I've done this rebrand, but right now that would be the best.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today.
And thank you for having me.
Always, of course, absolutely.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Please, before I do my normal outro, be sure to check out her music. I know I'm going to. And then check out the first half of her EP, Origin Story, when that drops in May. Or no, May or something else. Spring.
I'm not putting a hard
There
date.
is no hard date.
tuned.
That's old information from an old episode. In spring, as well as later on in the year for the second half of the EP, which is Villain Story.
Origin Story and Villain Era.
Yes.
Origin Story and Villain Era. I'm out of it today, guys. I'm sorry. But please be sure to check those out. Our people on YouTube, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode. Please, please, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially liking, because liking shares our videos out more. YouTube changed the algorithms, so now it's like funky and a lot more reliant on likes. So please be sure to do that for us and support us. Also, you can check us out on RM Entertainment, RME Free TV that you can get on your Apple TV, Roku TV, and smartphone devices. You can check us out on Catharsis Media's channel 96, and you can check us out on Studio 519's channel 27. Please be sure to go support those guys because of how much support they give to us. Thank you to Studio 519 for always letting us film here. Thank you to Catharsis Media for all that they do for the community. Thank you to our amazing producer. Thank you to our amazing sponsors as well. And please have a great night. Once again, my name is Tevin Brown.
And I'm Simone Campbell.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.